Well, hey there, everyone. This is another video lesson in the tutorial section here for helping gain more exposure and more knowledge, or helping to increase your knowledge about options. And this particular section that I want to begin discussing is titled "It's All Just Greek to Me." All right, and for those of you that may or may not be familiar with options, the term Greek may be foreign and Greek to you. So I just want to kind of spend some time talking about that. There'll be about 4 or 5 video lessons in this section, and I will spend time just kind of talking about each one of the different Greeks that we'll discuss right now. Now, when I talk about Greeks, you have already heard me bring that up in video lessons prior, in the boot camp lessons. And when I refer to the term Greeks, all right, right here under the option theoreticals and Greeks column, you've got this, all these choices that you can pick from. And right off the bat, you'll notice from one of the other lessons here in the option foundations section, I talked a lot about intrinsic and extrinsic value. Okay, so right off the bat, those two are up at the top. But underneath that, you'll see you've got delta, gamma, theta, rho, and vega, as well as some other ones underneath it: implied volatility, theoretical price, covered return, max covered return, return to risk, return to capital. I'd again just advise and suggest highly that you just experiment, go in and look around with, play with these and see how you can customize and change. If you don't really want to look at delta in this column, well, you can change it. And if you want to look at just return on risk, all right, well, then you can start seeing that's not going to be applicable to this particular option thread, so maybe you don't even need to look at it. Well, if you look at probability of touching, well, then you can see, you can start getting some hard data and some hard numbers on what that category, what that column will show you. For our case, for our conversation here, we're just going to leave it at delta, and I'm going to talk about the 4 different Greeks, okay, and then there will be breakout videos discussing each one in much greater detail. So right off the bat, I am only going to be talking about delta, gamma, theta, and vega. Now, rho, which is this one here, that is a Greek that I don't want to leave the impression it's insignificant or it's unimportant. It is important. They're all important. But this one is tied more towards changes in interest rates and how that affects option pricing. And of all of the Greeks, this one is one that I don't even monitor. I'll be completely honest, because I am so heavily concerned, and I am watching much more closely the theta, the delta and theta relationships and ratios. I'm watching, what is my net aggregate delta on individual positions, on aggregate positions. And, rho is just something that has never been impactful to how I've traded options, because I'm changing and adjusting other positions and other trades around changes that I see happening in delta and theta. Okay, so just know that rho is a Greek. It is not going to be one I will be spending a lot of time discussing. But right off the bat, what you'll notice then is, okay, well, great, well, what is rho? And what if I want to learn more about it? What if I want to make it a part of my trading decisions? That's absolutely a great question to ask. So what I want to do is I want to bring this over here. I want to just show you a couple things that I have noticed, all right, about the Thinkorswim Education Center. Now, you'll notice here they've got if you go right up to your address bar and type thinkorswim.com, this is what you're going to get, all right? This has a lot of information. That automatically, okay, the market didn't just close. That just happened because I rolled down here, all right? But what you'll notice here is this thinkorswim.com site has different, buttons, and it has different features. Under the Learning tab, all right, you've got areas where you can start learning more about the Thinkorswim Learning Center, right? That will open up this web page, if you will, same web page you can get from the platform. But what it doesn't link to, and I haven't been able to find where it links to, prior to the merger with TD Ameritrade, if you typed in Thinkorswim, this is the web page you got, all right? And I was able to find this one, and I really want to show this because I have yet to find, if you go over here to Options School, Lessons and Playbooks, all right, you've got the Greeks right here under swim lessons. You've got calls, puts, and covered. You've got verticals, straddles, strangles, raise, all these other ones that I've already talked about. But the Greeks right here, you've got something where it gives you a very, very comprehensive and excellent definition and explanation about, delta and, what it tracks and why it's important and how you can monitor it. So I want to just kind of steer you towards this website here, just so that you can get the definition, the explanations. Again, the next is gamma, the next is theta, you've got vega, and then you've got rho, okay? So rho right here, it just, again, talks heavily about how values of options change when interest rates move up or down 1%. This may become important as here in the United States, the Fed is talking about raising rates here. I mean, it's all but inevitable. It's going to happen here. I'm recording this in March of 2015. It's all but given that we're going to be raising rates this year, right? So this may become something that will become important, but up until this point now, it hasn't been anything that has affected how I trade options. And so that being the case, we want to certainly talk briefly right now about delta, gamma, theta, and vega. I will have breakout videos covering each one in greater detail, but for now, just know that what is delta? Delta is going to be a way to monitor changes in price, okay? That's it. That's it, pure and simple. So if you want to look at this, and if I want to say, all right, I am going to analyze buying a single call option. Right off the bat, it gives you we'll unpadlock this because the SPX is actually at 2081 right now at the close of today. It gives you an absolute delta number, all right, 49.07. So what that's going to tell you is price movement. Gamma right here, and the platform defaults to this, okay? Rho isn't even in here. So gamma is a derivative of delta. So delta and gamma are kind of cousins to one another, and they both are just directly talking about price, all right? Price right here. This deals with price movement. Theta, on the other hand, is how much value you gain or lose with the passage of time. So theta translates to time, all right? And I guess an easy way to just remember that is T equals T. Theta equals time, right? Corny, goofy, but whatever. You got to find stuff that makes you remember. So theta is time. Vega, well, coincidentally, vega is volatility. So vega equals volatility. Now, I'm not trying to make this, silly or anything. It's very important. But those are the four that you need to kind of be paying attention to and understanding and monitoring, so that when you get multiple legs and multiple spreads, you've got a vertical here, maybe you're buying a back ratio up here, maybe you've got a calendar here, maybe you've got selling a diagonal up here, and then maybe you're buying a straddle down here. You'll see all these things impact these Greeks. So if you can just imagine that you're and I'll use the analogy of a pilot. You're flying a plane. You need to know, wind speed, altitude. I'm not a pilot, so I'm not even going to try and pretend I know the terms, but I think you get the point. These are your instrument gauges. These are your clusters. These are your indicators, if you will, to tell you what your position, without breaking apart every single one of these positions, are doing. And the more positions you get, the more complicated it can become, and the much more important this becomes to understand how changes in your Greeks will impact your ability to make or lose money. All right? So kind of deep stuff. It definitely can get a little overwhelming. It can absolutely add more fuel to the fire of this option training education, but I think it's important to spend a section in these tutorial video lessons talking about the Greeks, because you are going to see them and you need to know how they function, and also when we're talking about constructing trade methods and strategies and plans to make money. Let's face it, that's why we're here, right? We want to make money. Well, we need to know what's going to give us the best edge and what's going to put those odds in our favor. And the conversation is always going to lead towards, what are your Greeks? What's your theta? What's your delta? And how is that affecting your vega? All right, so I think that's it for now for this one. Just know that I'll have a video categorizing or talking about each Greek in, by itself. And then I'll just maybe put one final one together where I step through a simulated trade and show you how changes in the Greeks can absolutely affect a overall position. Okay, so thank you, and we will have some more in this folder. All right, thanks, bye.